Welcome to Mission Evolution Radio Show with Gwilda Wiyaka, bringing together today's leading experts to uncover ever-deepening spiritual truths and the latest scientific developments in support of the evolution of humankind. For more information on Mission Evolution Radio with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit www.missionevolution.org. And now, here's the host of Mission Evolution, Miss Gwilda Wiyaka.
It's impossible to anticipate how one will confront difficulties until they encounter them. Will we allow adversity to remove us from the game? Is the choice ours whether to be a victim or a victor? Which do you choose? Mission Evolution Radio TV show is coming to you around the world on the X Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net. With us this hour to discuss the transformation of adversity into opportunity is the author of the Hummus Strategy, Sheryn Knaïder. Sheryn is a French Lebanese citizen born in Lebanon, founding president of the Professional Speakers Association, MENA and GCC regions, multilingual international consultant and speaker on adversity, creativity, and problem solving. Having lived through 5 decades of war, misfortunes, illness, and economic crisis, she shares how our attitude towards life's challenges shapes our destiny. Her website, SHERYNKNAIDER.com. Sheryn, thanks so much for joining us on Mission Evolution.
Thank you, Gwilda. Thank you very much for being part of your show.
Oh, thank you. I'm really glad you are. This is such an interesting topic at this point in our lives. I understand you grew up in Lebanon during the war and are still there. How did that influence who you've become today?
If I may, everything. I mean, if I am what I am today, it's thank and not because I was born in Lebanon. I could have grown in France, in Italy, in Egypt. I wouldn't be the same. I mean, I was 8 years old when the war started. And so I think this is for us a normality. And it's shaped me who I am today, definitely.
And you've had many careers. Would you please share a few and what led you to them?
Oh my God, that is long, Gwilda.
Well, shorten it a little.
Okay, I started as being, my father wanted me to be an architect. He passed away when I was 18. So it led me to that, to please him. I wanted to become a veterinaire. I love animals. So from that, I started to do architecture and furniture design in Milano. I was in Paris before. So Beirut, Paris, Cyprus, Milano. And then I came back to Lebanon and I had a gallery. And then I decided to have my kids a bit late. And I joined the father of my kids and we did food business. And after the food business, I wanted to do something else. I created an association for baby swimmers and handicapped and senior people in water. Why water? Because I love water, and nothing was in the region, actually, in the whole region. So I created the first association, and then I had to take care of my kids, and then I went into food business to help the father of my kids. That led me to, at a certain point, working into neuroscience, applied neuroscience, to understand why I was different from others. And that led me to many, many things. Tony Buzan, mind map, memories, etc. And to become today a speaker, a trainer, a coach, and a writer, and a consultant.
Just a little bit there.
Yeah.
So what you said that you went into neuroscience to figure out why you're different. What do you mean by how you're different?
I don't know for you, Gwilda, but I used to, in my family, I was born the 4th child after 3 boys. I was condemned to be a boy, but here I am, a girl. In the Middle East, in the 60s, that was difficult. And I always wondered why I was different from my brother, not because I'm a girl, but because I was tougher than the boys. I always question myself, is it DNA? Is it, my father used to speak fluently 7 languages. He was super resilient. My mother was a quiet French lady. And my 3 brothers were like molded in the same way, but I was different. And during 40 years, I didn't understand what and why I was so passionate about many things. I could cook and then I could, work wood. I was like too creative to be there and too resilient and too, I don't know. But I finally had a small article in the newspaper, and I found out that you can, be in the same family, eat the same food, have the same religion, but nevertheless be so different. And there I had my answers. And that's why I started being very passionate about understanding how the brain works and how we can shortcut our patterns of self-sabotage and who we are. Voila.
Voila. So, would you define adversity as we're going to be speaking of it today?
You want me to define? Sorry, I didn't answer.
I'm sorry. Would you define adversity as we're going to be speaking of it today?
Okay, my adversity is not your adversity, is not anyone adversity. Adversity is something tougher than difficulty, tougher than setback, tougher than, I mean, adversity is in the échelle, in the scale of hardships, it's up. This is adversity. War is an adversity. Losing somebody in the family is adversity. So what I meant by being a victim to victor, and from adversity to achievement, is how can you switch your mindset, you shift this, oh my God, what's happening to me, I'm a victim, to, hey, wake up, I'm still alive, I can still do things. This is how I...
So controlling the outcome or the environment or the way you respond to the environment is really the only control we have, isn't it?
You can control the environment, not really, but you can control how you think about the environment. I can give you an example. Very easy. I love to give this example. There are two men, one who wants to commit suicide and the one who wants to dream. One is living in a villa, in an island, somewhere beautiful, and the other one is in a prison. I'm going to tell you, Gwilda, which one is which? And you're going to tell me. The one who's in prison wants to commit suicide, and the guy who's living in a villa wants to dream. And I tell you, why? Why? And the thing is, it's not really true, because the guy who is having a villa might be having so much debts that he can't do it anymore, and he might think of suicide. And the guy who's in prison, maybe he's in a prison for a bad reason, but the only thing he makes me live is dreaming of getting out. You see what I mean? You can be in a hush environment and nevertheless make the best of it. And sometimes you can be in a very good environment and not do the best of it. So, yeah.
So, I've often wondered, some people, they just, roll with the punches, if you will. And other people, it's like they break a nail and it's the end of the world. And I think, what are you going to do when something real happens? Okay. And surprisingly enough, it's not always the ones that are already have PTSD that are so reactionary, but the ones that haven't lived through it. How would you explain that?
I think being in a comfort zone don't help us. It doesn't. I'm sorry to tell you. We have to be a bit hush on ourselves. It's like, poison, when you don't have poison at all, and then you put little bit by little bit, you get used to it. I think people who are very, who can, for example, I'm going to give you a very simple I have cousins that live in France and in the States, and they can, do programs and schedule for a year ahead. And I tell them, how can you? We don't know tomorrow if we're going to live. So we live in the moment so deeply, and they don't actually. So I think it's a matter of how you respond to if you decide to be happy in your life or not. That's it.
It's a choice then.
It is a choice, definitely.
How can we increase our chances of becoming one of those thrivers? The ones that thrive in adversity?
Just to wake up every single day, pray, have a gratitude. And it's very easy. I'm going to give you a small example. I love example because this is what people can relate to. Imagine you wake up in the morning, Gwilda, and you are a sort of negative person, okay? And you say, oh my God, what a hell of a day I'm going to have. I'm going to have this and that. And And then you go and you just take your first coffee and, oh, you see, the coffee is not hot. Oh, this is a very bad day I'm going to have. And then somebody else tells you something bad. And you know, throughout the day, you're going to have a very bad day anyway, because this is what you put in your mind. Whereas you wake up in the morning, you do like this, and you say, okay, I'm alive.
I'm on the
Nothing
right
is
side of the
missing.
grass.
Yeah. But I'm okay. You go and do a warm shower. Oh my God, how nice is the good shower? And then you have a coffee. Oh my God, I have a coffee. And then you see beautiful things around you. You put your beautiful music. You listen to anything. And then maybe throughout the day somebody calls you and is not nice with you. But then it doesn't have to hate you. It's not you. It's him. If he's being bad, it's because he's having a bad day and you're just in front of him. This is how you have to think. It's the way you think about yourself that will make your day good, because you will not change people, Gwilda, that's for sure. We are not there to change people. You just change yourself, your inner passion about living in a good life. So I think everybody who's living war, everybody in all the countries, if they still wake up in the morning and they still shower with a little bit of cold water, it's because they know it's a new day. It's a new future. That's it. That's the mindset.
And you can, from what I'm understanding, from what you're saying, you can take the exact same circumstance, and it matters, what dictates your experience is how you frame it mentally.
Yes, it is how I decide to be a victim or a victor. For example, I am going out of the hospital. I might have something serious or not. I know in my head I'm going to go okay. It is a moment in my life which is not nice, okay, but I will get through it. I don't know how long it will take, but I say every single day, I am better. We have this French philosopher, his name is Émile Coué. He created this quote that it says like this: every day in all the fields, I get better and better. If you repeat yourself every single day in out loud, okay, every day in every field, I will get better and better. What you're saying to your mind that everything is happening to you now, it's going to get better. That's it.
And then it does.
It does reflect. And somebody, you know what, usually we want to get better, but it's the people around us that pulls us down or up, usually pull us down. So what do we have to do? Unfortunately, we have to decide who to speak to and who not to speak to, or who to be far away. We might love them a lot, but sometimes they're not good for us. And usually it's family. Sorry to tell you, but that's true. This is it.
But isn't it up to us how we respond to how they're being?
It is, but you cannot be on denial all the time. You cannot just say, oh, no, don't talk to me today. Don't talk to me today. Yeah, but at a certain point, you have to choose. So sometimes you have to do, as we say in French, table rase. We have just to clear up the space for good energies.
Well, it's time for us to take a commercial break. Sheryn and I will return shortly, so don't you go away. This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. Survive or thrive? What makes the difference? This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. With us this hour discussing facing adversity is the author of the Hummus Strategy, Sheryn Knaïder. Sharon, um, how can we increase our chances? We've been talking about it a little bit, but how can we really increase our chances of becoming a thriver versus somebody that's just living day to day?
Um, I think we can divide it in three sections. First, we have to think of ourselves first, and we have to be very, very cautious about it and being very selfish. I'm sorry to tell you. Be selfish to be able to thrive. You cannot have all the misery of the world on your shoulders. This is one. I know it's difficult, but there is a definition in French is being selfish is giving to other people their responsibility and you takes yours. This is one. Two, you have to make a choice of who you encounter, who you speak to, and who you don't. You have to do a choice. You cannot love everybody. You cannot just be there to save other people. Because what we do usually in the family or business is that we see many people, you need to connect, but at the end of the day, you come back home and you're just empty because people would take your energy. Okay. So this is two. And the third one is if you pray, if you meditate, if uh, you silence is a very, very good thing. Today, no one is in silence. Do you know that? We put music, we are always something in our heads. We just need to step back and just anchor ourselves in this earth, in this nature, and, to resource ourselves. And this is not, few people do it, Gwilda. And I think we need to think of ourselves and our body and mental health. If you want to thrive in life, think first of your mental health.
If we aren't taking care of ourselves, we don't really have much to offer anyway, do we?
What do you mean? Sorry.
So you're saying be selfish, take care of yourself first. And I was saying if we aren't taking care of ourselves first, we really don't have anything to offer anybody else because we're depleted. Is that the
Is
point you're making here?
Yeah, exact. But the thing is, you get, with life, you get so busy, so overwhelmed, so stressed, and at the end of the day, burnout, worse, depression. But what I don't like about today's life, I prefer the 80s. It's because everything is connected. Everything is connected. I don't have this Apple Watch or Apple connected watch or it's things are moving so fast. You just wonder what you ate this morning. It's like, years ago. So it's difficult. It's difficult to feel anchored, but we have to. You have to first think of yourself.
And
Well,
then you're speaking of anchoring, and you also mentioned nature. Do those work together?
I think so. For me, nature and animals are precious. And you know what is more precious is small kids, is kids. I believe it or not, there is a child in each one of us. And if you are stressed, just try this. Go and see in a backyard, or, kids playing around with simple stuff, okay? Not on the iPad, with sand and toys and whatsoever. And you will just relax because it's fun and because we were kids too. Or you see cats, how many people like to see the videos of cats playing kittens playing together, or just have a walk in the nature in a park. My God, I mean, you feel so energized.
Do you think that's because nature kind of sticks to what's real and we've created a false environment with all of our electronics and everything?
Oh my, you are so right. You said the words. You said them. We are environed by technology. Like here, I have my green wall, I have my computers, and I have the mics and the lamps and everything, and hardly 2, 3 trees outside. So yeah, we completely disconnected with nature, unfortunately. And unfortunately, AI is not helping us because we have to run, to succeed in life, not to thrive, to succeed in life. For who? I don't know. For the others.
Well, the one thing about AI is it lacks a certain amount of passion and creativity that's natural for a lot of humans. Do you think that our passion, our ability to dream, our creativity is the key to being able to thrive?
Definitely. Definitely. Like AI could do a lot, but he will not help me being creative in kitchen, for example. I
Yeah,
love
let
cooking.
it do what it does, and we'll do what we do.
Exactly. I mean, if I want to smile every single day and wake up and to be cheerful, sorry, AI is not going to help me with that. You can have all the technology in your life. You can have millions of followers and still wake up in the morning, go on the feeds and see people better than you.
Mhm.
This
And
is
that
this is
actually
the future.
that's what it promotes, isn't it? Is everybody's giving up a false face, and you look at your mirror and you go, "That's not right." You know, I don't look
Yeah,
like that.
we
Mhm.
have a very comedian in France called Florence Foresti, and she's so fun. And there is this post about her, and she goes, Tuesday morning, and he's at the beach. What do you mean he's better than me? What do you mean that she's nicer than me? What do you mean by? But this is it. We all try to how do you say it in English? Se
Compare,
comparer. We compare.
compare
Yeah.
ourselves. Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. So, was your success achieved because of the challenges you faced, or in spite of them?
Remember, Gwilda, my English is my fourth language. So
Would you like
no,
me
no,
to read?
you went no, you went very fast. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I said, was your success achieved because of the challenges you faced, or in spite of them?
In spite of them or because.
Right.
Uh, I think both. I think it's definitely it's because I had adversities that I am where I am today. Because if I wouldn't have adversity, I would maybe be, a mom. I am a mom, but like, very happy in this family. I wouldn't create a lot. I wouldn't be able to help other people. That is my thing. When you have, when you are in a comfort zone, you don't do a lot. You do, but not that achievement. You can ask anyone.
There's nothing prompting you to move if you're comfortable.
Ex- yeah, I mean, you wouldn't risk anything, would you? You wouldn't risk something for something that you don't know because you feel comfortable. But people who have nothing to risk, they would do it because they have nothing to lose.
He who has nothing to lose. I think that was Bob Dylan quote.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, when we're faced or confronted with adversity, there's still another step, isn't there? Because it's from what you were saying, it depends on how we approach adverse situations and how we frame them. Depends on whether we're going to become resilient or buckle. Um, so it's not just having the experience; it's how we have the experience, is it not?
It is stepping back. You have a resilient, you have a problem, okay, whatsoever. Give me any example. Please give me an example so we can.
Okay, let's say, well, California people, they're in the middle of a fire and they don't know if they need to evacuate or if they can go on with life as usual.
Okay. What's the worst case scenario? They evacuate. What happens?
Oh, their house burns down and they have nothing left.
Okay, but if they are inside, they will die inside.
Yes,
They
exactly.
don't have a choice. I mean, sorry, they cannot go against the fire, so they have to evacuate.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
they would lose material. They would lose everything. Okay, did they lose the whole family? Did they lose the whole country? Did they lose everything? The family they have? Did people? Everybody died. We are not in Gaza, and we are not in these situations. So you see, it depends how you see it. It's an attitude. You say, okay, God gave me health. I still have it. My kids are okay. Thank God. I'm healthy. I'm okay. I can rebuild. This is how you have to think about it. It's, you know, if you have to take a decision or to solve a problem, it's only there is one thing which is important in life: attitude. It's your attitude that would define your reality. Why? Because attitude is an emotion. That's it. I mean, I have no choice. There is a fire. What do? I stay outside? No, I escape. I take my kids and I run. It's not a fight or flight response. It's a survival mode. So voila. I mean,
So eh, we, when we're put in situations when we have to make choices, is there a particular personality type or type of person that will rally and do okay, and another personality type will just panic and buckle and be part of the problem rather than part of the solution? Or is there a technique that you can use to become part of the solution rather than part of the problem?
That's all about my book and all about my trainings. I try to not teach people. I'm not there to teach anyone. Just to show them how can an attitude be thriving, or at the opposite, be your not end. But let me give you an example. I'm walking down the street, just walking. I'm not on my phone, and somebody walks, opposite, and just hit my arm. I'm like, what would a normal person do? He would say, "Can't you see in front of you? I mean, are you dumb or?" And that will escalate, and that will be, the horrible day. And then you go back home or to the office and say, there is a moron there, blah, 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 blah. You know what I do? If somebody hits me, and he is the fautif, how do you say, the colpevole? I'm speaking Italian. He is the
Perpetrator.
no, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not me, it's not my fault, it's his fault.
Right.
I would go to him. I would go to him and tell him, and to his arm, and tell him, "Are you okay?" But I'm not being hypocrite. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he would look at me and said, "A few days ago, I had dizziness, and I was walking down the street like you, and I hit someone." And what can he say? He would say, "No, no, don't worry. It was me. I was thinking, and oh, okay, bye, 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 bye." You see?
Mm.
So easy. So easy not to escalate.
Well, we're in times when, like you say, it's moving so fast, it's hard to make those choices. And then we're all also conditioned into a default, which is the aggressive one. That's the way our parents may have managed it. That's the way society seems to manage it. How can we take the time, or cue ourselves in that we do need to make a different choice?
I think it's everyday exercise, Gwilda. Everyday exercise. For example, me, I never see the news. People tell me, "Oh, you are in a denial mode." I said, "No, I'm not in a denial mode. Can I change something? Am I a journalist? No. Why you want me to listen to the news in the evening and have bad news, because it's never good news. In the morning, you never go on social media. Even neuroscientists themselves, they never go and touch their phones, or the phone, okay, to see who called if there is an emergency, but they will not go to social media for about 2 hours. Never go to your mails in the morning. You can say to the people, not before 9 or 10 p.m. This 2 hours or 3 hours when you wake up in the morning, it's for you and for your well-being. If every day you anchor yourself and you say, "I'm happy, I'm okay, everything is going to be good for my sake," it's going to be okay. But if you wake up in the morning and you slept bad because you ate junk food in the evening, sorry, it's all related for me, okay? Food, sleep, meditation, how you are in your
Well,
life.
Sheryn, we're going to have to leave a cliffhanger on this one because it's time for a station break.
Okay.
Sheryn and I will be right back to continue our discussion. So you stay right there. This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. Does everyone have a breaking point? This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. We're strategizing with Sheryn Knaïder on how to handle adversity. Her website, SHERYNKNAIDER.com. Sharon, is there a breaking point where a person can no longer transmute adversity into growth and resilience?
Oh, that was question was difficult for me.
I'll try again.
Can you say it in a different way?
hmm
Does?
Um, we have these strategies and we use them, and then more adversity comes, and we use the strategies, and more adversity comes. Is there a natural point where we can't strategize anymore? We can't compensate anymore. That it's just a breaking point, there's a place where we just can't move beyond. And if there is, what are the tools for that one?
There is a strategy. It's called the Hummus Strategy, actually, and it's in my book. And I'm not going to talk about it. But at a certain point, if you don't, as you said, you have strategies and you have a problem, and then you have strategy, and then it becomes all a huge thing, and you cannot face it anymore. It's all start from what I said in the beginning about attitude, how you have this attitude in life. Once you have this attitude, you have two choices in life. Or you react, or you don't react. If you decide to react, or you're in denial mode, there's nothing, If you decide to react, then this is something I called the 3A model. Okay, the 3A model of fortitude. So there's an attitude. For example, I'm a doctor. Okay, I lost my job in a hospital. What do? I will go and try to adaptability to another job, right? If I didn't find a job, I'll take the same doctor in a very far town, being paid less, but still have this, my title, doctor. This is one. But what if there is no doctors available? I mean, they don't need any. What do? I stay there and I complain and I nag about how life is difficult and how this is what people do. Okay. When they are not satisfied, they nag. Very easy to nag. So what do we do in these situations? There is a second thing. You try to be agile. Agility means you are not reactive, you are proactive. They would tell you we need a manager in a hospital and say, what? I am a doctor. I cannot just be a manager in a hospital. I don't know how do you do it. But then again, in the States, you have the President Obama that said, well, when you have a job, take it. Because meanwhile, during the process, you will learn how to be able to do things in life. And if you're going to be an expert or not, that is not important. The most important thing when you have adversity is to stay in action. Stay in action. Your mind and your body have to work. You have to feel that you are useful. That's the most important thing. Even if the job it's not on your standards. Try to be always in action. Try to see people. Go out. Create a community. Community. Super important. I'm not saying community church or, no, maybe music, a group of people. If you like languages, go and learn a language. Anything that gets you out of your house and be able to see new people.
So, those who experience significant trauma frequently develop long-term conditions, including anxiety, PTSD, and neuroses.
Of
What's
course.
your approach to this?
Look, I am not a doctor at all. I don't pretend to be a doctor. But what I know that even myself, I had some mental health issues, even me. And we have to be humble enough to be able to go to a specialist, maybe two, sometimes a coach and a psychologist, psychologist, okay, psychiatrist or psychologist, and to be able to reboot this thing in our minds. We have to be humble. We cannot take it all. So when we are in a deep depression or burnout, we have to let go. And something that I cannot apply sometimes on myself. It is super hard to let go. But that's the only way to survive is to let go and to reinvent ourselves again. Difficult?
So, how much of a role does trust play in this?
Trust in who? In the
Well, even in the universe, like there's a saying, never a door is closed, but a window opens. You have to trust to look away from the closed door to find the open window. You have to trust that it's there. And if a person's been through adversity, very often they lose their trust. Bad
Mm,
things do happen to me, kind of thing. So, how important is trust, and how can we develop it?
I think that trust is first with yourself, right? You know, uh, throughout your life, you're going to have difficult times. A couple of hours ago, I saw a lady who's 75 years old, an American billionaire. And I think she's become billionaire at 51 or 55 years old. And she said, because I had so many setbacks in my life, but I continue because I knew that one day I'm going to do something. And now I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking that she never let go about her passion of doing something in her life. And though she did a job that has nothing to do with her, it's real estate, and she never did real estate in her life. So the trust you have to have is that the universe is there for you. Just speak. You know that. We have to say it out loud. We don't have to say it in our heart. And say it like, hey, universe, hello, this is me. I've been doing exactly what you said, and nothing is showing up. What do I do? Well, you have to have this patience and determination to have a goal, like a goal at the end and the rate, and to be able to go to that far. But many times the universe give you, different tracks. You think you go straight and then you go to the left and then you go to the right, but that's it. Um, believe in yourself and believe that there is a God somewhere, and he might not be there every day, but he's there for us. So I think faith do it a lot.
Fa-
Not faith in God, but faith, like believing, like as you said, trust. Trust is a form of belief.
So, faith in the way life works, basically.
Yes,
And if we
yes.
don't have that faith, we don't tend to look for the way life is working and end up battering ourselves against it. Um, so, if we're finding ourselves in a state of not trusting, how can we shift over to trusting?
Surround yourself with people who have gratitude, who are believers, who are deeply connected with simple things. You know what I miss the most in life is my mom.
Mm.
Why? Because I think back then they were very simple people, very humble, extremely educated, but very simple. And they were grounded, like my daughter. If you need anything, you have water, you have food, you have a roof on your head, you have everything. You go back to the normal stuff.
Back to the
Today, oh
base.
my God, if I don't have the latest iPhone, if I don't have the computers, if I don't have the last, yeah, but this is all material. If you can have something else which is not material, that's awesome.
Because material things do tend to go away. So,
Exactly. And what's left is love, compassion, gratitude.
so adversity can easily lead to perceiving yourself as a victim, which we were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
What are the consequences of adapting a victim mentality?
Well, we call it here victimhood. Um, okay. I think most of the people like to become a victim and they don't know it. Victim doesn't mean victim in the sense of victimizing, but we do victimize. For example, and I think it's a trend. It's a trend being a victim. Give you a small example. I usually go swimming at 7 in the morning. When I was back in Lebanon, I go at 7 in the morning. I just trace, for 1 hour, and then come back, and then that's it. I do a shower and I leave. So the guy there, how do you call it? The guy who supervise the supervisor?
The
No,
manager.
the no
Manager.
no 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 the one of the pool.
Oh, lifeguard.
Lifeguard, but he's even a trainer. So he says to me, Sheryn, you've been coming here 20 years. 20 years at 7 in the morning, I ask you, Sheryn, how are you? And you say, super, magnificent. He goes, one day you are not super, I don't understand. Why you ask me, why you respond the same answer, super? And I said, let me tell you something. I am about to go to the pool for 1 hour. It's 7 a.m. Okay, my kids are going to school. Everything is okay. I'm going to swim, the thing that I love most in life. If I open my mouth and I tell you something negative, right? How was your day? Oh, you see, my husband, my kids, my this, my that. I will go and swim for 1 hour. My mind will only think on negative things. What's the purpose? I'm going to dive into the water. And he goes to me, but you don't want to complain? I said, what for? I'm going to feel good. You're going to feel good. I'm going to feel the victim, and then you're going to feel the savior. But at the end of the day, what did you do? You felt better. That's it. Did you save me? No. Did I save you? No. But you felt better, right? And he goes, okay, thank you. Bye.
I got
So
it now.
this is why people like to speak. They need to victimize. They need to be important. Because I'm going to tell you something, Gwilda. If you see me every single day smiling, and you ask me, Sheryn, how are you? And I say, super. The conversation is done. People don't want that. They want to,
Commiserate.
speak.
Yeah.
Exactly. How do you say it?
Commiserate.
Commiserate. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Voila.
So once it seems like, people are kind of conditioned to go into victim stance. And also, there's no responsibility when you're a victim, right? It's not your fault. But
Exactly.
there's also no power. So once we find ourselves sliding into the victim stance, how do we pull ourselves back out?
Oh, there is a power. I think that they have more power, and we know that because once you slip into victimhood, there is the power of saying to everybody, I am a victim. That's for them a power in their hands. If you tell them, but look, there are other people who have miseries, and and but me, it's about me, but you don't want to understand, and he point at you saying that you are not compassionate, so he becomes even more victimized. How to get out of it? Well, uh, if you don't want it, nobody can help him. They have to be. Wait, let me find my words in English. They how do you say it? They want to be able to want it. You cannot push anyone to get out of their victimhood. You can't. That's impossible. With all the love you can have to somebody, if he would do the victim, nothing to do. Nothing.
It's very, very often, though, the person doesn't even recognize that's what they're doing. Um, it's such a habit.
That's
So,
even worse when they, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, if you're in the habit of being victim, you
Mhm.
have to start to kind of watch for when you're doing it, don't you?
I don't think it works that way. I don't think it works that way. Even if you take a camera and you just roll it and you show them how they react, they would not. What helped me a lot long time ago, it's reading, um, not
Uh,
comparing, reading
I'm
like,
I'm sorry, we're going to have to leave another
oh,
cliffhanger. Please stay with us as Sharon and I
okay.
continue to discuss resilience in the face of adversity. This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. What does hummus have to do with resilience? This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. We're continuing our discussion with Sheryn Knaïder. Her website, SHERYNKNAIDER.com. So, Sheryn, what is the hummus strategy? What does hummus have to do with
With
resilience?
resilience, adversity. I'm not going to spoil the book, but people ask me often, is it related to why hummus? And why did you hummus? Oh, because it's a catchy. Everybody is using hummus now. Where it was born and who created it, and etc. etc. We know Lebanon have the best hummus and created the best hummus years ago. It's between Lebanon and Syria. It's somewhere there. I took this story. So it's a story. Okay, Hummus Strategy is a business book and self-development, but written as a story. Very short book, 130 pages, A5 format, where I don't want to spoil the book, but where this guy loses everything. When I tell you everything is like everything. And I make the hush, even the problem even tougher. I put him in another country. So it's not even his country, his language, his everything. And he decides to reinvent himself. Now, the hummus somewhere is there. I'm not going to tell you what exactly, but it is there. I am using it in the book as maybe a therapy, maybe a way to get out. That's it. So this is why I used hummus. But it is, and actually, there is a gem in the book. There are 9 recipes Mediterranean inside the book. I can't tell you why, but you would discover it at chapter 26.
So, how can one tell if they're being held back by trauma or growing from it?
Go again.
How can a person tell if they're being held back by trauma
Mhm.
or are growing from it?
Usually you're held back at the beginning, usually, and then you grow from it. You cannot just decide, oh, I'm having an adversity. Oh, yes, beautiful. Ah, da-da-dee, I'm gonna do. No, you're held back. Then you think about it. You said, okay, I'm gonna be the victim or the victor, and you decide or to stay the victim, or because you have more to gain in life, to discover what is victor and how you can be able to overcome adversity. Uh, yeah, I think
So,
so.
very often we can have a goal. And like you spoke before, it's very important to have a goal, to always be motivated to be moving forward.
Yes.
But what happens when we keep running up against a brick wall and we need to question, is this actually the appropriate goal for me? Is this really what I want? How can you tell when it's time to throw in the towel and look for another goal or stick with it?
Okay. When people are, like you're saying, they have a brick wall and they pew, pew, and it's not going anywhere. And I tell them, look, step back. One step back. Very back. Okay. Look at the wall. Can you go aside? Can you dig down? Can you jump over? I mean, look at the big picture, because usually when we are inside the problem, we never see. That's why sometimes people who are seeing the problem with you are better advisor than ourselves. This is one. Second, nothing tells you not to have in parallel 2 or 3 other things that you're working on it. Why not? It's not all your eggs in one basket. Sorry, this is what war taught us. We don't have a plan A. Never we have plan A. It will never work. It's we have plan B, C, D, E, F, G. Why? Because this is life. If that doesn't work, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. And one of the things, it's like going to how do you say go to the fishing. When you go fishing, sorry, you never have one canne à pêche. How do you say canne à pêche?
Bait, one rod.
Yeah, one
Rod.
rod.
Hmm.
How many you have? They all have 4 or 5. Why? You have more 4 or 5 possibility that things will work out than one. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
I
I
think you did.
had many times. I had the first book. I was waiting for the book to come, and then I decided to create a video called SHERYN.tv. I started becoming a host, traveling with my, and I did many things at the same time. Something went, something opened, and if my initial project did not come out as I wanted, it means I had to let go. Hmm.
So you're looking at a combination of stick to it and know when to let go.
I mean, yes, because you cannot just let go and say, "Oh my God, I had." You cannot put all the eggs in the same basket. You need to do different things. This is what I say to people. As I told you at the beginning, we need to stay in action. You cannot be just there waiting. You can't. The mind goes. You go crazy. You can't. You need to stay in action, and you need to stay curious in life and creative. How do you do that? You do different things, and then you see what goes and what doesn't go. Sometimes you need to step back and wait, but waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. Do something else. Voilà.
So you mentioned, and we're talking about it, I'm sure, creative problem solving. What
Hmm.
do you mean by that?
Okay, a company comes to me and says, "I have a problem," or okay, you have to, or you have a problem. It's or internal or external. There is nothing else. Or you don't have a problem and you are not using all your potential. And this is seeing opportunities where they see nothing. So when you're creative, usually it's cost effective. What I like to do is I like to create solution for people or companies without paying a lot of money. That is the thing. Because I think that today we can do a lot with that is the creative problem solving I'm talking, whether with a person or in a company. Usually I work with big companies, and sometimes they don't have a problem, Gwilda. I swear to God, they're healthy, they're booming, and everything is okay. And I tell them, but this small thing that they're, why don't you do this? Will not cost you anything. And they try it. It's just seeing, as if I have different eye glasses and I can see things, opportunities where people see only or problems or don't see it at all.
So you you're a comedian on top of everything else you do. You're a stand-up comedian. What role has humor played in your life and your resilience?
Oh my God, that is the best question of the, the I love it. I love to laugh. My father was a very funny guy. From the age, I don't know, 5, he used to tell me jokes. And he used to tell me, "Sheryn, you want to be an alpha or a beta?" I didn't understand anything back then. I said, "But Dad, what do you mean?" He said, "You want to people to follow you, or you want to follow people?" I said, "No, no, 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 I want people to follow me." He said, "You have to be able to say good jokes. Once you are having good jokes, then, you know." And that's true. And humor for me is the most important thing. I mean, I cannot work with somebody who is serious. I can't. I can't. I just can't. It like repulses me. Because life is already very difficult. And if you can just have a smile,
And
makes my day.
humor has been proven to actually be healthy. There was a gentleman, actually, I knew him, Patch Adams, a medical doctor, and he did all sorts of studies and presentations on how humor helps health. So now it's the time in the show when I get to ask you, what's your mission?
My mission in life.
Mhm.
Okay. Apart that we lost all our money in Lebanon in 2019, apart that we had all this huge adversity, apart that my mission today is to provide for my kids. If I had that, if I had what I lost, the mission for me is to be able to not teach, inspire people to be able to speak, to be themselves, to teach, to give. If I can give, I'm happy. If I don't give, I am not happy. So my mission is to try to inspire people to be happy, resilient, creative, and have a lot of gratitude.
How do you think the world would be different if more people were able to do just exactly that? Be happy despite what's going on, have faith, have gratitude, and be resilient. How do you think the world would change if more of us were like that?
It's a utopic question. Of course, the world would be a better place, but who wants peace and who wants not to cut the forest and who wants to? I don't know what's ahead, Gwilda, but I don't really like it. That's why I'm very nostalgic into my 80s because I was in the 80s and yeah, of course. What if kids? There is a very nice book called Les Coloriers, The Colored, by a French author. Invented a story where a boat in the middle of the ocean uh, drowned. I mean, the boat sank, and only the kids survived. And they went to an island, and they lived 20 years in this island. So these kids became adults, but then he saw them, and when a kid grew up without adults, they still kids. So what if, my question is the opposite of you, not the opposite, but it goes in the same way. What if we came back to be kids again?
That
Funny,
innocence. Mhm.
very light, not serious. And in the morning, Tony Buzan, my mentor of Mind Map, used to tell me we are all geniuses when we were kids. We used to be poets. We used to be, we used to do so many things. And all of a sudden, we became these adults, very serious. And I always say it's not because I have a serious job that I'm serious.
If becoming an adult, we're given these models. Is it the model that's very serious? Is it the model that we're given that's kind of trapping us in its own adversity? Really, this model, we're a victim of it.
Yes,
Is
of
it?
course, we are a victim of this model. Who told you that? Who gave us the permission as an adult to act as a child? Actually, that is TED Talk I want to do. Who gave us the permission? You don't have the permission. You are an adult. You have to give the example for your kids and the future of being an adult. For me, adult doesn't mean anything. We are so unhappy. Remember last time when you were happy? We were kids, and we had, not kids, but like we didn't had any, how do you say it, any uh, uh, wait, let me think in French and then translate. Responsibilities. And we were like, everything was easy. And then all of a sudden we have a job and we have to pay our bills and we have to be serious and
There
we
we go. Well, Sheryn, I unfortunately we're out of time. We could go on and on. You have so much to offer, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Merci, Gwilda. And you know what, everybody? If you need anything, I'll be happy to help you. So, voilà.
Voila. To
Merci
find out
beaucoup.
to find out more about Sheryn, where you can find her book and all she has to offer, visit her website, SHERYNKNAIDER.com. This has been Mission Evolution with Gwilda Wiyaka. For more information or to enjoy past archived episodes, visit missionevolution.org. But please be sure to join us right here next time. This mission will continue to bring you information, resources, and support to an evolving world.